There we go. You should hear me now. Dadgum. I always have to check this. The one time I don't check it, my mic is broken. You should be able to hear me now. Hello, I am your tech doofus. Blah, blah, blah. Like I said, today we're going to be working on this PSIISHelper. Hi, doofus. Thank you. And what I was saying is I've added some commands here. We'll get to what these are. What I was doing literally just before this was trying to rename these, give them the PSIIS prefix, just in case someone else has their written get app pool. I just don't want my commands to be in conflict with theirs, so I'm just going to prefix mine. I know some people that do this. I've never found myself in a scenario where I have to use a prefix, but I think IIS, there are so many commands. I just want to, be 100% sure there's no conflicting commands and PowerShell doesn't know. It might accidentally call someone else's get app pool instead of this one, so I just want to be sure. So I'm renaming the functions and then renaming the files and blah, blah, blah. We'll get to that. I already said all this, but what I was going to do was give a quick shout out to my first sponsor. Yay, I'm cool. Thanks, Noel. You can sponsor on GitHub, which is pretty cool. I don't have enough followers on Twitch for Twitch to accept like subscriptions. Specifically, usually people's Amazon Prime Twitch subscriptions. Once I get 50 followers on Twitch and some other criteria, but 50 followers is basically like the hard one. Twitch, I guess, emails you, you become a Twitch affiliate, and poof, they give you the subscribe button. And then, if you wanted to subscribe on Twitch, you sure can. But other ways to donate, I suppose, is to sponsor on GitHub, since all my projects are open source and I'm doing stuff on GitHub. If you're come to my profile, is there a way to see this publicly? Anyway, on most of my repositories as well, there's going to be, like if we come to PSIISHelper, there should be a sponsor button on here anyway. And if you clicked on this, you come to my GitHub sponsor profile, which I'm still working on. I just never imagined anyone would even look at this, let alone give. So thank you, Noel. I mean, you could have been at the 5,000 a month tier, but that's beside the point. I don't even know why I do this. This is not even a real thing, but they're out here. Anyway, so until Twitch allows, like I said, usually most people probably aren't using their Twitch Prime subscription. So I'm hopefully working to get the subscribe button once I hit 50 followers. So tell all your friends to follow me. I can't get the button until I have at least 50. So anyway, let's get to work. So what I was working on was just adding some commands here. Some of these have documentation, some don't. But I was updating the command names on here with my prefix, and then I obviously have to update the file name. So the way I structure my modules, and again, I've got a blog post on how I build modules. Part 1 is on like the bare minimum of what, like by definition, this is what a module is. One file, everything's crammed in there. And then part 2 on my blog is how I structure modules. So I've got, my module file, my manifest, a license, a change log, tests, public and private functions, all the things, just how I like to structure it. So if I need to work on something, I know exactly where to go. I don't have to search through a giant 10,000 line file or longer, So if you're curious as to why things are structured this way or have questions, you could read the blog post if you wanted. And that's all at MatthewJDeGarmo.com. It's my blog. Go check it out. Actually, I think I have, I embedded my, this is cool. I think at the bottom, yeah, so I can embed my GitHub sponsor card, I guess, anywhere you want. So that's down here too. GitHub sponsor. Look how cool I am. Anyway, all right, back to work. So the way that I structure things is the name of the function matches the name of the file that function is stored in. Everything should be the same. And actually, some of the tests that I write assume that this file is storing a function with the same name as the file. So in my case, it has to be this way. It's not just a nice to have. It's not just nice for organizing. It's a must for my tests to work. So anyway, all right, let's do this one. So I'm using some keyboard shortcuts. Control F2 is the change all occurrences. And really what that does is it puts a cursor at the end of each occurrence. And if I move my cursor, you can see even like down here, it's moving my cursor at the same spot in every occurrence. And so I'm just pasting in here. So it updates my region definitions at the beginning and the end, my function definition, blah, blah, blah. Not going to explain the regions as well later, but let me just get all this updated. What am I missing? Oh, so I updated the guts. Now I need to update the file name, which is just F2. What's left? Here we go. Save. PSIIS. Let me just make sure all these regions are updated. Like I said, we can go through these one by one. I know when I said I was building this from scratch, I was kind of facetious because I've already written all this stuff. I just hadn't packaged it into a module yet. So a lot of this is written. Now it's just in a module. So yay, magic code from out of thin air. Yeah, so okay, these are all done. Close saved. Let's see if all my tests pass for these. Nope. Oh, none of these haven't registered these commands yet. So these are failing because my tests import the module and then test that that command is available. The command that's in the file name that has a certain structure. So if I come to my manifest, the only command I'm exporting is the one that we left off the last stream with. So we basically need to come in here and add the rest. Get PSIIS app pool. Port 80 binding. Let's just stack a couple at a time. There we go. Where did I leave off? Port 443, new PSIIS NIC IP address. Yeah, port 80 binding. Okay. Port 443 binding. Okay. Here's some commands. Let's just stack them all nice. Save. Rerun these tests. Should get much less red. So as long as my commands, follow this structure and everything, like I said, I'm dynamically creating pester tests, which is something else I haven't explained. I can dynamically create pester tests based on the name of the file, and that assumes that there's a function called that. If it's in public, it runs public tests. I've turned off my private tests because I don't have any private functions yet. But very quickly, again, I have certain tests that are structured this way to be dynamically created based on how I structure my module. I've got 111 tests And right now they're all passing, but I'm checking so many things that I know I don't have to worry about because my tests pass. I don't have to check that stuff all the time. It's much easier to not miss things when I'm publishing this out to the world. Now, a few of these I've cheated. Let me get rid of these. So those are some of my tests. I have to have a synopsis block. I have to have a description block. I have to have an example. I have to have all these things. So instead of me writing those, I just cheated and threw these in here. So it would pass my test, technically, but I don't actually have anything here. So maybe today we can just add some documentation to these, because I probably need to explain these commands anyway, which the documentation will do. So command number 1, let's just go through these stuff that I've added. So get PSIS app pool. This shows you all the application pools that are on a server. There are certain filters. This defaults to only the pools that are started. If a pool is stopped, this is not, by default, this is not going to show it to you. But you could manually say, you know, where the state is star, and that would give you both stopped and started. You know, I was thinking about installing IIS locally just so that I could make some websites and try this stuff out. All you need for that is to turn on the Windows feature, right? Yeah, so I'm going to check information services. I don't think I need this hostable web core. This is probably really small to you, but I'm just going to check this, and this should go through and install IIS, I think. And then I can make fake sites, make fake pools, and I can test some of the stuff out locally, which is nice. Unlike the last thing I worked on, the glow command, I have no domain access anywhere. I don't have an Active Directory lab, so I could not test viewing the lockout source on my own, even though I was developing the dadgum feature. You know, that was difficult. But if I've got IIS locally, I can really show off a lot of this stuff. There we go. I've got IIS. How cool. All right. Can I zoom in? Wow, this won't get any bigger. Is any of this readable to you guys? This is so small. Okay, default website, which means there'll be a default pool. One issue with this is I don't think any of these commands are able to default to running on itself, if that makes sense. I guess we can test. Get PS app pool. Yeah, it will default to the local computer. Yeah, and so what it's trying to do is it's running invoke command on itself, which isn't going to work. Man, I hate this. I hate having to write logic like this. A quick way around this is okay, I can provide an array of computers to computer name. Let me quit out of here. That's not going to work. So I want to computer name. I can provide an array. So do I want a loop? Let's add this. So I'm going to say computer name, loop through each one. Or wait, pool.computername. That's what I need to do. And then I need to say if is equal to the computer it's on, if it's trying to run locally, then I would basically just steal this whole block of code. And I hate this because you have just duplicate code in 2 spots. But then it can run this locally. And if it's doesn't match, that means I need to invoke it on a different computer. So it'll run this same code. It just has a different context because when you're running commands locally, you have to use this using scope. So this code runs on a remote server. Using says, hold up, there's a variable I got to go back to the host to grab. So it does that. Using computer name. I'm going to say this is using this because that's technically the computer name. Okay, this should all be good. Let me re-import, rerun that. Okay, so I'm trying to import IIS administration. Oh, locally, I think I have to be an admin to run this. Oops. All right, opening PowerShell as an admin. Can you guys hear the music, by the way? The last couple streams, it's loud to me, but it's quiet on the stream. So let me know if you hear any music at all. No music. Great. Let's see if I change. Desktop audio. You should be hearing everything that my computer is doing, but my music's not coming through, which is really weird. You can almost hear it. Okay, that tells me something. Ooh, sorry. Did you hear that? That was disgusting. It was very loud. Yeah, it's turned up. I hate wasting time on this, but I don't know, having music in the background is pretty cool. Let me relaunch Spotify, maybe. Or I'd have to turn that way up. But then that's super loud for me. There we go. How's that? Is that overbearing? Can you still hear me over the music? Hearing music. It's good. Okay, let me turn this down just a little bit. Okay, now that you can hear the music, let me know up or down, because you should hear it all the time. It's just a cool vibe. Okay. Import module force. Apple PSIS. Yeah, it doesn't like... I thought when you installed IIS, you got the web administration module as well. So that's what I'm trying to look at. Yeah, web administration, but where do I get it from? Windows 10 and Server 2019. Oh, you know what? I think what's going on is... Shoot. When you... Right now, and I dislike this, when you are PowerShell remoting into another machine from PowerShell 7, from the new PowerShell, and I remote into a server, or do a remote thing, like invoke a command or whatever, on the remote machine, it invokes Windows PowerShell. Even if PowerShell 7 is installed, I would love a PowerShell 7 to PowerShell 7 connection inside of Windows. And maybe I'm doing it wrong, but when I remote in, it loads me into a Windows PowerShell session. So doing this remotely is probably not a problem. It can load this module. Maybe it's only compatible with, you know, Windows PowerShell 5.1 or whatever. But when I'm trying to run it locally in PowerShell 7, it doesn't like that module. That sucks. That means I can't really test this stuff on this machine. I mean, I guess I could open up PowerShell. Yeah, so it's accessible to Windows PowerShell. So now let me try. Wait, why don't I have that command available? Why don't I have get app pool here? Get PSIS app pool. Something weird's going on. Okay. Let me load it manually. Oh, it's bad code. Oh. Darn. So I'm using logic that only lives in PowerShell. So when I say PowerShell and Windows PowerShell is the old, Windows 5.1 version, whatever. When I say PowerShell, I'm always referring to the new PowerShell Core, PowerShell 7, whatever. They renamed it PowerShell. Windows PowerShell, and the new one is PowerShell. In PowerShell, we get new operators and things. This is a ternary operator. And this is a very short-handed way of writing if-else statements. So I have this condition. And then this is basically, if true, return, do this. And then the other side of this colon is, if it's false, do this. So I've actually got a nested ternary here. So let's rewrite this in a way that you could see it side by side. Okay. So I'm saying if the thing coming down the pipeline has a server value, then just return that value. Else, and then I have another nested ternary expression here. So it's like inside of else, I have another if. Computer name. Return. Computer name. Else. Return .ps computer name. So literally this is side by side the exact same logic. This is shorthanded to this one line right here. Ternary operators are very cool. They look just, funky if you don't know what they are. But in a script where it doesn't really matter, as long as I explain what's going on, I probably need to replace these with the non-ternary versions. So that's what's going on is in Windows PowerShell, it doesn't know what the question mark means. This is, create an if else, if true, then false. So that's this. So hopefully that was something you didn't know and you learned something. So that's cool. Let's do computer name equals. I probably need to wrap all this in parentheses. That looks gross. Look at Copilot rewriting this for me. Because I gave it an example of what I'm doing, it knows I'm converting the ternary to if else. It's already suggesting application pool, then return application pool. Otherwise, return name. That is so cool. GitHub Copilot has been writing so much code for me lately. The more it learns, the more it writes, and I don't even write code anymore. It's great. That is loud. Jeez. Okay. Let me save this. Re-import. Oh, re-import with PowerShell. There we go. It didn't like my ternary logic. So this is great for the person using it, but anyone wanting to maintain this, I really need to explain what's going on here. This is a concept that I used immediately when I learned it, but I haven't really used it much since. I haven't really found a super use for it. So what I'm doing here is I'm setting different values depending on if the values are coming from the pipeline or if they're being provided. For example, let's say I ran something, I don't know, some function. I don't know what it would be. Some data is coming through the pipeline. It will do different things depending on it's aware that the information is coming from the pipeline because it'll get it as an object. Or the thing in the pipeline handed to process is an object. So I'm saying if it's an object, you can assume something is coming down the pipeline. So try to auto detect the names of the values that I want to map to computer name into name. Otherwise, if it's not coming from the pipeline, then I create this pool object and I set its computer name to the parameter computer name that was manually provided and the name parameter that was manually provided. So I don't know if this is how everybody does it. I could just map stuff, but I'd have to map these three. I don't know. This just worked at the time. I'm going to leave this commented out so people know what's going on. Can't handle. Okay, cool. So now that works locally. Oh, wait, this works in PowerShell. I should be able to. This would still be a problem if I was on a server running this as Windows PowerShell. It still would break. But at least remotely, I know that this will work now. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Anyway. This will work. This is fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. So let me save this. I think I've got this logic elsewhere too. Yeah, same type of deal. I'm doing this because this logic is the exact same as in the other one. The only thing that's changing is I'm adding 2 upper here. Ugh. Site name, applications, name, 2 upper. It just rewrote all that for me. I love GitHub Copilot. It's great. So if you don't know, what I'm talking about is it's in beta right now, so you have to like be accepted into the program. But if you go to copilot.github.com, you can sign up with your GitHub account, and it's GitHub's AI programmer. It's an extension that you install in VS Code. And if you're signed up, it will work. And basically, it does this for so many languages. PowerShell's not even on their list of supported languages, and it's writing PowerShell for me. It's fantastic. You can literally like type what you want it to do. So here, get average runtime of successful runs, and then it will write a function based on what you just told it to do. This isn't the best in PowerShell because, like I said, PowerShell's not like officially supported. But it is so many things. You can give it examples of a data type, and it will write a function that transforms some data into that looking JSON or whatever. It's just very cool. Very cool stuff. So many different things it can do. You can look through here and figure it out yourself. But when I brag about Copilot, I'm talking about this. I've been accepted into it. I get to use Copilot. It's auto-suggesting this code. Or if I hit Control-Enter, it will come up with 10 different suggestions. And maybe there's a different suggestion that I want, and I can accept that suggestion. So it's very awesome. Let me copy this block as well. So let's try some other commands. I guess to test this on this machine, I have to use Windows PowerShell. Problems. Oh, you know what? I probably need to restart my terminal. Sometimes VS Code will just throw some bogus errors. I just restart the extension, basically. Unexpected. Oh, I don't care about that. Oh, okay. So all the problems are in the GitHub Copilot thing, which I don't even have anymore. Have open. Okay, what else can we try out of these? So some of the other functions are... Well, let me make sure I don't have this gross stuff anywhere else. Not there. Yeah, not here. This is the same logic, but I'm not using ternary. Same thing. No, I am with this one. Great. Server, computer name, PS computer name. Let me go steal that. Sorry if I'm just chasing down a bunch of rabbit holes. I'm just trying to get these working real quick. Okay, so name is application pool name, so that's all correct. Sites is site name. Applications, sites. Beautiful. So that's that else. That's that one. That's that one. Oh, I'm missing the... I don't need this. I need this. Yeah. Right? Okay. That goes back here. That closes that. That closes that. See, all this code is because I can't use this ternary. Look how much disgusting this looks. How much more disgusting this looks because I can't just simplify it in 3 lines. It literally takes me, what is this, 26 lines. Ternaries are cool, but it removes all backwards compatibility, so at least this will explain what the fluff is going on. Let's move that up. Oh wait, that's for... Okay, I needed another one. Okay, I'm getting lost in some of these brackets. Okay, pool. That closes that. This closes the if. Okay, I'm good. Jeez, that's gross. Okay. None of that's ternary. More. Here we go. Let's just clean this up. Well, anyway. Yeah, this kind of needs to be done. Server. Yeah, these are all the same. Site name, name. Cool. Okay, so now we can start testing some of this stuff. Let me re-import. Get app pool. Okay. I still am not getting every command. Let me just test some of the integration. So I should be able to get the app pool. It tells me the site. This is the application is the site on there. What? Okay, something's broken here. It's seeing this as a function. Here's how I should structure this. Make an empty pool. And then I can say I probably need to do something like this. Let's try that. That's weird. Oh, it doesn't like it in this one now. So same thing. Let's fix this. Any questions so far? Have I lost everybody? This is kind of gross. Just clean up stuff that I didn't anticipate trying to test this on my local machine. Because web administration apparently doesn't work with PowerShell 7. But it's why it works when I remote in to a remote machine. I get web administration because that's local. And now I'm cleaning up this logic because not everyone running this will be on PowerShell. They'll be on Windows PowerShell. So I didn't even think about that. So I'm making this backwards compatible. Site name. Oops. Just copy this. Oh, I probably need to... Oh, let's write it this way. Okay, just set it like this. All right, I'll have to rewrite this too. Yeah, I know. This will fix it. This will make it look a little better. But I sometimes you have to do this. You have to have some nested logic or a switch over here. And I like keeping the brackets in line with the indent that opened it. So, but it just looks gross sometimes. But I'm actually undoing this, so we'll look more normal here. It doesn't like that I'm using this if on the other side of an equals, which that seems weird to me because I'm wrapping it up in parentheses, but whatever. This will fix it. Server. And then another if. Computer name. Gosh, it's trying to do the ternary for me. Let's do dot computer name. Oh wait, I need another if here, don't I? If server, else, if computer name. Okay. There we go. Finally. Correction. Okay, so this looks more normal. How are my indents now? This is gross, but this is backwards compatible to this. It's just, It's unreal, like how much this ternary operator simplify things. Use them when you can, but this is breaking my testing. So I'm leaving this with this explanation here so that people know what the fluff is going on down below. So this is the equivalent of this. Whatever. It is what it is. Save. No. Let's re-import. There we go. So now I know it's working. Yeah, it was introduced in 7. So I don't know when you tuned in. I was explaining earlier how this weird PowerShell remoting quirk happens. So if I'm on a computer, if I'm on PowerShell 7, and I do any remote action to another Windows box, so invoke command, enter PS session, new PS session, all the things, whatever it is. Even if that remote computer has PowerShell 7 installed, the remote operation on the remote machine happens inside of Windows PowerShell. So 5.1 or whatever newest version is of desktop is installed. That doesn't make sense to me. If I'm doing anything on a machine and it also has PowerShell 7, I want it to happen inside of PowerShell 7 on that remote machine, but it doesn't work that way. If I remote into a machine, that new session is Windows PowerShell. So any ternary logic that might work locally, do it remotely, it has to be Windows PowerShell. I don't understand. Whatever. So now this is working because my this is built in. Yeah, if you could figure out a way to force it to use PowerShell 7, I think the world would love to know. I would love to know. I can't figure it out. Unless I like inside of the Windows PowerShell session, I spawn a child PowerShell session, PowerShell 7, but then still, it's still a workaround. I don't know how to make the initial connection PowerShell 7. If you can figure it out, I would love to know. I'll give you a shout out, whatever. Show me how to do it, because I don't know. I haven't figured it out. I have tried. There's like, when you remote into a machine, you can specify a configuration to use, but that gets really like in the weeds. And I just, gutted Windows only commands. Yes and no. It gutted the Windows only method on the back end of making certain things work. But now that it's on .NET Core, to make like new item is a command. That works in Windows. That still works. But the back end is calling a, possibly a different API because it's no longer the .NET Framework API version of making a file. It's .NET Core, and .NET Core handles the OS specific garbage. So yeah, some commands that are Windows only left, but I'd have to think of an example. You know what I think they did? Some of the Windows only stuff, like scheduled tasks, for example. I don't know if in Windows PowerShell creating scheduled tasks was baked in, but now it's a side module. So if you're on Windows, you can sideload the scheduled tasks module. So in PowerShell 7, you basically get the same commands. Stuff that broke, I think they ripped out and published their own modules for. But anyway, this is working now because I'm getting, even though I ran get IIS app pool, it gave me the pool information, and this properly threw that information through the pipe to restart IIS website. And now IIS website, the fact that it's rendering the correct site name on the correct computer name, this means all my pipeline stuff is working. I tell it yes, and it restarts my pool, or the site. This should work for a restart pool, but all that stuff I wrote, I'm going to have to rewrite it like this. Ugh. Oof, that's not what I want. Season having music a little better when I'm quiet. It's less awkward. I don't know. That's why I freak out about making sure you guys can hear the music, because it's just nice. It's a nice supplement to my gross voice. All right, let's save that. I'm gonna have to. I'll clean up all this off screen. This is just boring stuff, but let's come in here. So here's everything that I've added. What else can I do? We're adding commands. Just cleaning those commands up. But in terms of the module, like you saw, once I add commands, I have to make sure if I want that command to be available to the human that's importing this, those have to be provided here. Eventually, I might write some backend helper functions that I'll put in private. I don't want a human to talk to those or to use those. So they just don't get listed here. But the module can still use them, even though they're defined and available. The file's right there. You know, there's the code. But the human, when they import this, they won't be able to. It's not going to be available for them to type. These lights are starting to flicker. That's weird. Anyway, I think I might end this here soon. Does anyone have any questions before I go about what the heck we've been doing? These are just generic IIS things. We'll add to this more in the future. If you guys have suggestions on, hey, write this, blah, 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 we'll do that. But to start, these are just some things that I've already written that I wanted to just, you know, package up into a module. So like I said, off screen, I'm going to just replace all these, what we've been working on, I guess, this whole time. But a lot of these are pretty simple. Like you could run this command if you wanted to get all the local bindings that are port 443. You could do that and pipe it into where object, blah, blah, blah. Or you could just call this. So some of these are just convenience wrappers around other commands. But anyway, some people might not remember to do this every time, or they might not even know about where object. But this sort of lets them get that information anyway. So some of these are really simple. This one's more complicated. This one adds an IP address to the NIC of the server. If you're adding a new binding or adding a new site, and you told it that the IP is something that doesn't already exist, obviously it needs to get added to the NIC of the server. So this does that. Let's go to new 443 binding. New web binding. Could you not just have get PSIIS port binding with a parameter for the port? Yeah, I could do that. Okay, let's look at that real quick. Get the binding. I could do that here. Good call. Let's do, what am I doing? Parameter, validate set 80 443. Let's just do that. Would I call it protocol or would I call it port? Oh, weird. I've got a held a message allow. Okay, sorry. Now, okay, we see your message now. How do you handle duplicate module function definitions across multiple modules? Yeah, so that's why I've never had to do this before, but I'm doing it now. A lot of times the technique people use is, you know, whatever makes their module name unique. In my case, you know, PSIIS is sort of the root of the name of this module, PSIISHelper. Instead of just publishing a command in here called getAppPool, that sounds very common. That sounds very likely that someone else has already written a getAppPool. So I'm adding my sort of unique module name prefix to the beginning of the commands. And that just should dramatically reduce the probability of there being a command name collision. So there probably is a get app pool somewhere on the interwebs in a module. But how likely is it that there's a get PSIIS app pool? So this kind of seems annoying to type, but for commands like this that are probably very common, I'm not the only person in the world that's doing IIS stuff. To try to reduce that risk, I'm adding a prefix to every single command. No matter what it is, instead of get binding, get PSIIS binding. And so hopefully that keeps my commands unique in the whole world. If I installed every module in the world, this would still be a unique command. So I know it's 5 letters. That's kind of a lot, but in this case, like in my HelpDesk or admin toolkit, those I feel are, the commands in there are okay enough to just not have a prefix. I don't even know what prefix I would use, but in this case, there's something unique in my module name. And so someone's going to see this and go, oh, that, that's the prefix because that's part of the module, whatever. So that's what I'm doing in this module to reduce that risk. Yeah, so that's a technique you can do. You don't have to, but if you feel your commands might clash, I have no evidence that someone's written get app pool, but just in case, it just seems like it might be. So I feel that's enough justification to put a prefix on here. Oh, we're adding protocol. Would I call it protocol or would I call this port? I'm calling this port, and the binding is port, so I should probably call this port. But just in case someone does HTTP or HTTPS, what I can do is I can switch on port, and I can say if it's HTTP, then port equals 80. So that way they can do HTTP and it's still going to turn to port 80 and, whatever logic we use to get this done. So let's save that. Okay, now how do I actually use the port? Because I'm doing an invoke command on, some remote computer. I need to write logic for this to be local. It's going to be annoying. And then I'm providing the script block as an actual script block that I store in a variable somewhere else. So I actually need to be able to provide a parameter to this. I'm gonna have to look that up. Let's pick this up next time. I gotta look into providing an argument to a script block when the script block is a variable. Unless I just... Because if they don't provide a port, I want to just return everything. So there should be no default to this. But if there's a port, then I have to do like a where object. Hey, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 50 followers. As soon as I get to 50, I think Twitch will give me the subscribe button and I can gobble up all the free Twitch Prime subscriptions, which would be really nice. But until I get to 50, I don't have that. So you can only follow at the moment. But hopefully soon I get to 50 and you can subscribe, which will be really nice. If you want to donate, sponsor me on GitHub. But until then, yeah, do the GitHub route. Anyway, if they don't provide a port, I don't want to do a where object. So I don't know if I need to do that where object here or if I do it inside the script block on these. Because eventually, like right here, I could do a where object. Wow. Because deep down in these 3 nested for each loops, I am returning an object. And so at the highest level, I could filter out based on the port of the object coming through. But if they don't provide a port, I don't need to provide anything. Or filter. So how would I do that? Let me look at something. Oh, I don't have bindings. I have to fix this command anyway. So I can't really test this, whatever I'm about to do. So I think this is a good place to stop for now. I've got a couple things to fix just to be able to run this command before we can start changing stuff and then actually testing it. So we got a lot done today. Hopefully it wasn't too boring. It was mostly just cleaning up indenting, right? That was awful. Gosh, turn area is just so great. But anyway, yeah, so I'm going to call this for now. I'm getting back into finally streaming PowerShell again. Like I said before, I took 4 months off. I had a baby, things just got really busy. But now that I'm getting back into the flow, my current schedule, I have actually a schedule on Twitch. I think I used to stream every Thursday. Wow. Every Thursday at 10 a.m. Central, I think. 10 a.m. Central, I think. Wow, get out of here. Pause that. And that schedule's actually on my Twitch profile here. As soon as I'm not live anymore, this will count down to next Thursday, 10 a.m. Central. So, I will at least be streaming on Thursdays, but ad hoc throughout the week. I will try to stream more than just once a week, but yeah, so that's the schedule. Like I said, there's no subscribe button here, but I would love a follow. I need 50. I'm at 44 now. So thank you guys for that. I just can't believe I have 44. Started from 0. This is cool. I'm just a doofus. Hence the name change. Tech Doofus. I don't want you guys to think I know what I'm doing. I really don't. So I just stream my cluelessness, which is fun, I guess. So, all right, I'm going to end this here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If all this stuff is open source, so if you have these ideas, or hey, add a port, add this, you should change this. All this is on GitHub. Go make an issue. Just go do that. That's not annoying or anything. Please make an issue so that your comment or thought doesn't get lost. Even if it's something that, if you just have a thought, make an issue out of it. We'll just close it if it was just a thought and there's no actionable thing to be done. Please go do that. So on my Twitch, I think I've got links to, I've got links to my GitHub all over the place. So go to my GitHub, make an issue. Get out of here. Remind me later. I've got lots of repositories. Not all of them I'm actively working on. HelpDesk, Admin Toolkit, now PSIISHelper. So if you've got thoughts from the stream, or hey, I noticed this code was broken, go fix it. You didn't even see it. You're a doofus. Come out here and make an issue. You don't have to follow this template. It gives you a template. I think I'm cool because I now have a template. I didn't know about these 4 days ago, but now I do. So yeah, just come out here and make one. That would be awesome. And thanks for tuning in. So reach out to me on all the things. I'm very active on Discord. We've got a PowerShell community on Discord. Do I have a link to that? Maybe I should put that on my Twitch. A link to our Discord community. I know I've got a link to it on my website. Yeah, so if you come down to my timeline, yeah, here it is. This is a forever invite link if you want to join our Discord server. You post help, you help other people asking for help, everybody learns. We're all doofuses, so yeah, just go check it out. There's an invite. Click it, join. We're all there, all the cool people. So check it out, and I'll see you guys next time. Again, I'm kind of dragging this out, but thank you so much. I've been your Tech Doofus, and I'll see you next time.